Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Brush. We call imagination. Understand? Understand? Imagine. Imaginate. You understand? Imagine.
Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.
Welcome to the Academy of Underdogs podcast, a place where a community is being built. A community of underdogs who are striving to do better and be better. Here's your host, Dev Dog.
Oh god. So fucking nervous. Are people gonna watch this? After this?
Alright, cheers everybody.
Fucking cheers. Cheers, boys.
Up to.
And welcome to Underdog.
Welcome.
Episode 2. I was thinking we could light something on fire this time. I think that'd be sweet.
Ready? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Academy of Underdogs podcast. I'm Dev Dog, and if you remember, this is Zeth and Bobby. They're going to be joining me again for episode 2 on the adult side of my life. Last time we were here, we ended on. Well, actually, first of all, how are you guys doing today?
I feel great.
Oh, I'm doing great.
Really good.
Yeah. What did you do today? It rained a lot.
It was supposed to be. I thought it was gonna be rainier than it was gonna be, so I was able to get a lot more done than I thought I could. So super productive.
Nice.
I was
get
the
lost in the
opposite.
sauce.
Yeah, we did nothing at work today.
Ooh, nice.
But we did get all the stuff moved upstairs so they can clean the carpets. So
Nice.
that's what I did.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Perfect. I had the day off, and I worked at home and wrote some stuff for this episode and another episode. You'll hear all about that later. So last time we recorded, we ended off with me going to boot camp and getting out and starting adulthood. And so I guess that's where we will leave off.
Continuing the saga
yeah.
of death.
Also, I just wanted to point out that last episode, it was, all of our very first episodes in a podcast setting. So it was a little drawn out. So sorry for that. We're going to try and keep it a little bit shorter and more to the point this episode. Right, guys?
We're gonna try.
We're gonna
try.
No promises. Do our best.
I've got my notebook here to keep us on track.
But yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I got out of boot camp in 2005 whenever I was 18.
God damn.
18 years old. Got my first job at that tree company, Dincher and Dincher, that my Graham knew, or she was a relative.
That was the one that
I guess
that
he's
lasted
my relative
2
too.
weeks, right?
Yeah, lasted like 2 weeks.
Nice, tight.
And then so in high school, or during school, it wasn't just high school, it was like middle school, and I don't know how much into elementary school it was, but in the summer times, I would go to church camp for a week.
Church camp. When I think of Devin, I don't think of church.
No, I'm not, I'm
I
not
don't
so
know a bit.
religious anymore. But
I don't think any of us are.
I know I'm not.
I know it was. I grew up as a Christian, or in a Christian family. Definitely as a Christian.
Was it the I forget the division. Oh my god, Protestant or was it?
There's so many.
Oh, there's so
the other
many,
one.
dude.
There's
It
so
doesn't
many.
matter. I was Seventh
It was
Day
Protestant,
Adventist.
though.
It was stupid. I think going to church so much as a kid
Is it
totally
the one where
ruined
you're
me.
up and down praying and touching water? And
That's Catholic.
Yeah, that's Catholic.
Catholic, there's
Lots
a
of
lot
standing,
yes.
kneeling.
I had an ex that I went and did that thing for New Year's. in like not a church clothing outfit.
No.
And it was the worst. But I used to go to church as a kid and I was like, oh, I could do this. This is fine. Nope.
I had a Mexican ex, and I went to Spanish Catholic mass one time.
Sounds
man,
more
And
that
intense.
understood nothing. It's like, oh, we're standing up? Okay, we're sitting down? Okay, we're standing up? Like,
Wait, Bobby, you're Mexican. You do not.
no, Filipino. Common mistake.
Only habla inglés. But yeah, I grew up pretty Christian, or my parents are still devout Christians.
Yeah.
But I went to church camp in the summers, and it was a lot of fun. There was, I don't know if any of you have ever been to like a summer camp type thing, but
Sure.
there's always
Yeah.
activities, and there's a lot less church than you would think. Also, there are a lot of really cute girls from other areas of the state.
It was
co-ed.
yeah, that's the word.
Co-ed is
I was gonna
the
say
best.
intermingled.
I like, this really makes me understand. Coming together, co-ed.
The cabins were not so much,
But was there,
Doesn't matter.
Was there sneaking around?
a little bit what you could. It was pretty.
I guess it started when you were young, so maybe not so much.
They kept it pretty tight.
Yeah.
But through the church camp, I met a guy named. We'll just leave his name out. He was an older guy. He owned his own masonry business, and my cabin counselor, we will also fail to mention. They both started with B. They both started with B, and they're pretty common names.
Brad.
A white trash name. Mandy, Sandy, Jenny, Janice. But anyway, so my cabin counselor, this is whenever I was older.
How old?
I don't know, my last year there, I think was 16.
Okay.
But he was really cool. He was a snowboarder too, and we were from the same area, so we kind of kept in contact, and we even went snowboarding once at Ski Sawmill together. But he bet me that the company was a masonry company. He bet me that 1 week of his paycheck that I would not last 3 days doing the labor of the job of a mason. And so I took him up on that offer after I left dentures, and just because I needed a job basically. And I lasted 3 days. So all right, we lost the light.
Did you get his paycheck?
No, I worked the 3 days, and then the owner, who I knew, I'm just gonna fucking say his name so I don't forget. It's Bill. Bill,
You can
just
call him
decided-
Barry.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's out
It's
there.
out there. Bill, who I knew from this Christian church camp, just decided to not answer the phone and not call me back. I'd leave messages. It was my own fault. I didn't fill out any paperwork or anything. Not my own fault. Fuck that dude.
Yeah, you didn't know.
That's-
You weren't
that's his
young.
fault.
But what?
Yeah.
It was like a bet like you were.
I was good.
Made?
I got a job there. I was taking it as he was hiring me, because if I did pass the 3 day bet, then I would still be employed by him. And pretty sure it's illegal to have somebody work for you and then not pay them.
That sounds illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, but that fucking guy just blew me off. Nor did I get paid.
So this was the I missed that early. This is the owner of the company.
So
This is the guy hiring you.
My cabin counselor was an employee. The other guy was the owner of the company.
Who's the one that bet you
Yeah,
that
which
they
one
give
bet?
you
That
his
was my
paycheck?
Cabin counselor.
Got it.
Not
But
the
you
one
never
that
got. You
Which
never
one?
got the paycheck.
I never got my actual paycheck, and I never got the bet paycheck.
You worked for 3 days and didn't get paid at
3
all.
days, hard physical labor. I was 100 and probably 20 pounds soaking wet back then, and that shit was hard.
And what were you?
wheelbarrows full of concrete up like a 2x6, and then handing cinder blocks up onto a scaffolding where the masons were working. Like, that shit was fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't get any paycheck for it.
That is really shitty.
I know, right?
Damn. So where did that lead you?
Um,
You're like, screw these people. I can go do something better.
yeah, I didn't do anything better, but a year goes by after I get out of boot camp, try multiple different jobs, and then my mom asks if I want to go to college. And since I kind of sucked in high school, I couldn't get straight into regular college. I had to go to this, it's called summer development.
It's like community college.
Well, it was like at the Lock Haven University, which is a state college.
It's like a you do like basic
Yeah,
classes.
it's during the summer. It's like real college. You go to actual classes and everything. But it's just a pre to, if you pass that, then you can go to regular college. But that was also just fucking party time. I mean, I'm 19 and I basically said yes because I was bored and was tired of trying to find a job. I didn't really have any interest in going to college, but I said, fuck it, why not? Let's try something different. And so go there. This is in my hometown. There's people coming from all over the state, out of state, wherever, New Jersey, all over Pennsylvania, to come to this thing. And then we're all staying in the same dorm, right? And it's also everybody's first time away from home. College, basically, for them too. Like, essentially a pre-freshman year.
Yeah.
And what do you think fucking happened? We did a lot of partying. And I was, like, I'm the local. I know where to get the booze, and I know where to party. I know where to get the weed. I know where all the good shit is. And so I was pretty popular.
Nice.
Especially with the ladies.
Ooh. My sister always told me that I needed to party in high school so that I wouldn't do it so much in college.
There's a fair
And
argument for
there
that.
was a good amount to that, but I don't think I did enough in high school. So my first year of college was kind of a wash.
I was the same.
I mean, that's one thing that I thought about before is I did so much partying in my high school years that it wasn't a big deal for me to party out of high school.
Right.
But a lot of kids, they didn't do the type of partying that I did.
No.
And so they
I
finally get to college and they go fucking hard.
Yeah.
And a little bit too hard. And
That was present. That was me. I didn't smoke weed until I was 18. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18. That was the year for me.
Yeah, there you go.
that was the golden year.
Yeah, dude, I became a man.
Smoked weed.
Smoked weed, had sex with an Asian girl, crushed it.
Asian girl even nice.
Paku Lore. She was in my Spanish class. Just saying.
All right.
That was her name.
Paku Lore. Yeah.
Is that
If
a
you're
first
watching
name
this,
and
shout out.
last
name?
If you want to get together again, I'm up.
Paku Lore, Bobby's free
name?
man.
Mentally and physically.
Still single, and I'm way better at sex now.
Oh yeah, his dick's way bigger.
Second puberty really got me. So.
But college was fun to say the least. Or that part of college was fun to say the least. I ended up, after it was over, I had failed psychology. No, philosophy.
One
I
of those
failed-
P
yeah, one of those
Yeah, one of those
Ps,
key ones.
I failed philosophy, and I could have like appealed their decision and gone, but
Is that a thing? You can appeal
yeah.
a failed grade?
Well, like
At
they
this
said that I
preschool,
yeah, at
or
this,
not,
Yeah.
pre-college.
Pre-college?
at this it was a thing. But
And
I
were you
didn't-
living at home, or were you in like a dorm, or what?
I was at the dorms.
Nice. The
No,
dorms are fucking sick.
That's where the party's at.
Yeah,
Stay
dude,
home.
definitely.
But I met some people that I stayed friends with for a while after that. But yeah, didn't go to college. After college, I actually needed to find a job.
Mhm.
And
So wait, how long did you go to college for? Like 1 year?
No, it was just the
summer, like a
development,
semester.
So like one semester.
It was like 4 weeks or something like that. Like,
it was
Oh,
1
that's
month. You went for a month.
Yeah.
Okay, word.
was
no,
all
no
summer?
judgment.
It
no
was
judgment.
pre-college.
It doesn't count.
I wish summer classes were 4 weeks. I feel like
I
mine
got
would be a lot longer.
0 college credits for those classes. Had a lot of fun though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you got a lot of
And
partying.
my mom paid for it, so thanks, Mom.
Hey, thanks, mom.
Helps out.
Learned a lot about ladies and partying.
I did learn a lot. I mean, it might not have been about school things
Right.
per se, but
Yeah, but
life lessons.
I mean, life
life
lessons
is what you need
way
to learn
more
about.
important.
So
Yeah.
Way more important.
Absolutely, than fucking philosophy. I can learn about that shit on my own.
I feel like
That's what I always thought about
philosophy
college
you can just
anyway.
make up anyway. It's like poetry. Like
That's
there's
just
no
kind of what I
rules.
always thought about college anyway. I mean, I understand that college can be important and is a good experience for a lot of people. It's also stupid fucking expensive, and unless you know specifically what you want to go for, it's like you're just fucking throwing money into
Oh, you're just
somebody else's
wasting money,
pocket.
bro.
Taking all these stupid classes about something that you may not have any interest in, and
I think
the stuff that you do have an interest in, unless you want to like be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, where you actually need a degree. Like there's this thing called the internet nowadays, and also books. Those are still a thing. Like, you can learn whatever the fuck you want from all that stuff,
Yeah.
unless you need a real degree. I didn't see how a lot of people see it.
Was that your only college too? Just pre-college? Did you ever go back eventually?
Yeah, whenever I moved to Steamboat, I ended up going to CMC, Colorado Mountain College, for
Oh shit.
ski and snowboard business. I didn't finish that either.
Yeah. It's because
Yeah.
there was too much skiing to do.
you know.
Well,
I think the education system is not ideal here. Obviously, in America, it's
Well, that
education for education is wonderful. I love learning things, but trying to pay, thousands of dollars per credit or not credit, per class is a lot.
and CMC was
Mhm.
cheap, and I got in-district tuition, so like classes were super cheap. But with the degree that I wanted to go for ski and snowboard business, you have to take all the other stupid. It's like algebra was one of them, and I always thought that was stupid. That you never actually use it, and then Jenny, my girlfriend, was like, "You use that shit almost like every day whenever you're in charts or just doing groceries or anything like that. If they just explained it better than A plus B or A times B equals C and all that other stupid shit, and described it in real life situations, I might have taken a little bit more of an interest to it. But for them, numbers, fuck you."
Yeah, no,
Oh yeah.
I don't do numbers.
Not a math guy. Yeah, right on board.
I have
Not a
since
mathematician.
become a lot more of a numbers guy.
Oh, interesting.
Well, fill us in,
yeah,
please.
Well, they make sense.
The
You-
I
numbers?
wish they made sense. They're
Numbers
just
don't make sense to
flowing.
me.
You can-
Shapes, squiggles in the
You
air.
can put a number to literally everything in life in some sort of statistical manner and come out with some other
I
number.
do remember taking stats and being like, "This is really useful."
Dude, I
But
thought
was not
stats was
good.
fucking garbage, bro. It was all hypothetical. Like, you took
What?
everything you'd already
No.
learned about math, and then they just fucked it. Probability and stats was one of the worst classes I ever
That was the
took.
only one that made sense to me. I was like, I was just at that point in my student career, I was like, I hate school, fuck this shit. But
I'm not a schooler.
I remember thinking about it from my logical side. It was like, this makes sense. I wish I was paying attention, knew more, because
But don't get me wrong, I love learning. I try to learn every single day. I love reading books. I still read books. I read way more books now than I did back then. But it always has to have some sort of information.
Well, I mean, it's about stuff you're actually interested in now.
True. Right.
Yeah.
I get to pick whatever I want to read. Not that I couldn't before, but with college, yeah, you have to read and buy these
There's so much.
hundreds of dollar books that you have to sell at the end of the year.
Dude, it's such garbage, dude. I used to, when I was in college, I would just show up for the first week and I wouldn't buy any books. And I would just be like, okay, do we really need this fucking book? Or they just want me to buy it? And I would just make friends and just share their books. Because usually, like, you don't fucking need it. You know what I mean?
But
Especially
also,
for, like, sciences or math or something like that.
Also, if you're in a study group, you're gonna learn way more than, like, you know, sharing that book with someone. You're gonna learn way more than fucking reading it on your own. Like, oh, I need to read this chapter. Like, no, go make some friends. But
Yeah, that's how we all feel about college.
Zeth is the only college graduate present right now. So
yeah, by a thread.
Good for you, buddy. Good for you.
So after the college, I really needed to get a job. Me and my friend Reem took to because he needed a job too. We took to the newspaper ads. The newspaper one ads.
Nice.
Interesting.
We tried all kinds of shit.
Yeah, this back in the day if you're a newspaper adding.
The internet was around, but newspaper ads also were.
It was
pretty
like circa
useful.
2008,
It's
right?
my favorite part though. They're still here. They're still there.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, you can look them up and be like, yeah, I don't want to go work for that.
Some of the
city
best ones are in
department.
the newspaper too, like a rainbow salesman, which we did.
What?
Do you know what a rainbow is?
No, I have
Not
no.
the actual outside rainbow
Please.
that.
Like
Please
the
fill that one
brand
in.
rainbow.
No.
Okay,
I know what
please
that is.
continue.
It's a
Rainbow
It's
sales.
a vacuum,
Got it.
an
Got
air
it.
filtration vacuum system.
Why is it?
Were you
rainbow?
doing like door-to-door
Stupid.
salesman shit?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I didn't really do too many knocking on doors. It was more networking through my mom's
All right.
friends.
You weren't like that guy that came in and like threw dirt on the floor and you're like, look how good this vacuum works.
I mean, yeah.
Did you really do that shit?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Whenever you go to
We're like the
yourself,
Shazam guy,
Like-
or what was the fucking?
No, Shazam. Yeah,
Is
that's
it
not right.
Shazam?
Yeah.
or any of those infomercials.
But you're in the house. I love it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
That's
very,
old
but
school.
it wasn't a legit badass machine. Like it would clean the fuck out of your carpet.
Yeah.
But it was
Really
super
expensive as fuck.
It was expensive as fuck,
Yeah.
you know. Cutco. I was a Cutco salesman. You know what Cutco is?
I mean, I assume
I
it's
know
knives.
just as much as about rainbow salesman.
And were you also door-to-dooring as a Cutmo salesman?
Cutco, yes.
Cutco, excuse me.
What is cut? This is
Cutmo would be more lawnmower.
one
That checks out.
letter.
That checks out.
One letter make a world of difference.
Yeah, I'd never made any sales, but I did get. I was about to say a free set of knives. No, I had to pay for those shits. Dude. They were really good knives, though.
Was it? Would you like walk into the house and be like, run it on a ceramic stone?
Yeah.
Look at
Stuff
this,
like
and
that.
take their tomato and just blast it apart because it
No,
wasn't
slice
sure.
it super smooth.
Oh.
And they were really nice knives too. Like they had a weird design that was different from all the other ones, and like they had a lifetime guarantee. Like if it got, I'm trying to sell you guys some knives now. Let me tell you about Cutco.
And were you like actually going into people's houses and like,
Yeah, I did
Like-
a few.
look how good it cuts this tomato that I brought with me.
I actually did sell like a paring knife or something like to
Ooh.
my
Very versatile.
Nice. They were good stuff. We also tried modeling.
Nice.
I'm so sorry, modeling
Modeling.
Your body.
with your body.
Ooh. No, not body. Lips. With your
No,
lips.
that was just blue steel.
You were a hand model.
No, we.
I was in the
What did you
95
model?
catalog.
It was a tryout. So my mom hit me and Kyle up and was like, "I'm down here at the mall and there's some modeling tryouts." And I thought that maybe you guys could go down or come down and check it out because you know me and Kyle.
Could you turn left?
I can't. I'm an ambi turner.
Not Amy.
Nice. All right, you got one up on Zoom, right? So
No,
there you
we're
go.
pretty decent.
What
guys.
did the modeling audition consist of?
Was
Literally-
there one?
Because I'm
Literally-
assuming you had to audition, right?
Was there an audition?
Yeah, literally, you just walked up and
Turn to the
these
left.
people were standing or sitting at a table and they were like, "Yep, you got the look."
Was it like an American Idol situation when they were like, I don't know, I don't like his hair that much, and
I don't know about those guys because I didn't get that. I got.
Wait,
I
what?
got.
What did you model? Did we figure that out yet?
I mean, nothing happened yet. Nothing ends up happening for Kyle anyway. My modeling career is just it started to take off immediately, and then I got tired of all the fame and money and just all the attention, and so I just kind of walked away. I went back to my parents' house and did
similar to mine. Yes.
Yeah. I love living in basements.
I once met a model, and she said, "You could be a model. All my model friends would love you." And I said, "That was the pinnacle of my model."
That was that. Yeah. The finger snap, and then I never modeled. So did you get a job from modeling?
No, all that happened was, what actually happened was, like, we did get you got the look thing, but then you basically, it's just an okay for your parents to pay a shit ton of money to come to Philly, stay in a hotel and get all this stuff, like stay in a hotel, buy dinners and whatever, and then have a chance to go and walk in front of, like, modeling agents and whatnot to see if you had the look. And I did the walk down the fucking runway.
Nice. Like it, yep.
My mom made me do my hair the way that she wanted to, not the way that I wanted
Which was
to.
Classy.
Which was what?
Which was
like to the left.
I'm just picturing slicked back.
I got super curly hair, and so she wanted to, like, make it curly, and that wasn't my jam. My jam was
Slick back.
no. Slick back, dude. What year do you think I was?
Listen, the slick back look was really big in the 90s, okay?
We're talking modeling. It doesn't matter
the
what
Steven
year it is.
Seagal look, just all the way greasy.
My style was stick my head under the shower faucet, get it wet, towel dry it, and then stick a beanie over
I
top.
do remember the beanie. Yes, you did mention
That was the
before.
move,
I had really long curly hair, and that was the only way to fucking tame it.
Get your
Was
little
it
flair
was it
going.
like a fro? She wanted full curls, no hat,
Yeah.
just no
Just-
mushroom look. It was just fro
Fro.
curl.
Curly fro. But I lied. My modeling career never took off. I didn't get the okay.
Damn.
I thought that if I tried, there was an acting and a modeling thing, and for the acting thing, like, you had to
Act.
like recite a monologue or whatever, and I didn't try out for that. Thought that I could have done better in that
Did you
area, but
Did you ever do any like acting or singing or anything like that?
I was in a band in high school.
Nice.
Played the guitar.
Lead guitar, rhythm guitar.
I wasn't good enough for lead. I was more of the vocals.
Oh.
Vocal guitarist. This is a new one.
Yeah.
Were you that guy
No,
that just
what?
held the guitar and sang, but like you never actually played it?
Probably a little bit. We'll just go back real quick to high school. Yeah.
Just circle back.
I did like to sing. Like, I always wrote poetry and
Nice.
stuff like that, and wrote songs all the time. Loved music. I was into punk music and like hardcore stuff. Slipknot was one of my favorite bands. And then whenever I joined a band with my friend John and some other people, I made a hockey mask, duct taped it,
That
and
checks out.
put like dreads on it and shit. And John was like, "You can't wear that. We're not Slipknot." But yeah, that was a short lived. I did write and record a song for my girlfriend in 11th grade with a rap too.
Nice. Classy, dude. With the
Do you want to
rap.
hear the rap?
Yeah, please.
How long is this rap?
Very short.
Okay, I would love to hear it then.
All right, ready? You guys ready?
You still remember it? This is great. I can't wait.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. It'll come back to
Right,
me.
yeah.
The last part was, I am a rapper and I know you can't deny it. Gonna catch myself a fish, gonna cook it up and fry it.
Dang.
Word.
And you wrote this for a girl?
Yeah.
Tight. Was
First
she,
song
was
was
she
like-
into it? Was she into it?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But did you fry her a fish?
No, bro, that's just part of the rap, man.
Oh, come on, man. I like realism.
Fuck out of here, Zeth.
So yeah, modeling career ended. Yeah, still didn't have a job. I had an apartment with my friend Possum.
Wait, how old were you at this time? 18?
No, we're at least 19, right?
Yeah, it was 19.
With your friend Possum.
19, 20, somewhere in there.
Pre-drinking age, but still drinking.
Oh yeah. My mom was paying my rent for the most part because I
generous.
was broke. And then
Didn't have a job.
Right. We're looking
It's
for
like
those.
my dad owned a garage. He was a mechanic / machine shop. So if I didn't have a job, I could always go there and like get hours, and he would pay me for doing. Like I would resurface heads, resurface flywheels, cut material, aluminum for these brackets that he used to make.
Did
for
you do that a
covering
lot,
the
or
table.
just every once in a while?
It was more often than not, since I didn't have a job.
Yeah. But it wasn't consistent.
It wasn't like I worked there and I had to show up on time and stuff. I just showed up whenever I wanted, work for however long I wanted, and he would pay me for those hours.
Sounds pretty nice.
No bad.
Yeah. It was a good.
When was the first time that you what was the first job that you got? Like real job?
Not with your dad, yeah.
So I don't know what year it was, but my buddy Benson from high school, one of my best friends, he got a job with Pinnacle Security. It was a security system.
It's the Pinnacle of security.
That's
what that was.
There's some was like a.
Oh, see, there you go. Man.
Alright, let's do this. Hold on, wants to come in.
Oh, the mascot's making an appearance.
Watch your beard, watch the tail.
Wicked tail.
Oh,
Oh, that one was empty.
Watch
We're
out, the
good.
Storm Peak Beer, local brewery from Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Looking for sponsors,
Looking for
just
sponsors,
saying.
just saying. For real, not kidding. But Benson got a. I keep calling him Benson. I called him Ben. His name was Benson, but his name was Ben.
He's a Benny.
Anyway,
Benson.
he was getting a job with a security company, home security company called Pinnacle Security, and that was down in Baltimore, Maryland. And asked if I wanted to go and work, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, fucking Baltimore!" And a job.
Isn't Baltimore scary? Was it sketch back then?
Oh yeah, It's
Baltimore's like a rough city, isn't it?
yeah, there's like Inner Harbor and like downtown and stuff, and then there's other nice neighborhoods around, but pretty much everything outside of the inner city is just straight ghetto.
Yeah.
And
And this was like circa 2008, right? Ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So as you can imagine, as a security company, like that was a door-to-door salesman. I was a installer.
How many door-to-door
I didn't
salesman
do-
jobs
I
did you
didn't.
have?
I did not. I was not a door-to-door
Okay,
salesman. I was
installer.
an installer.
Way better. Way fucking better.
But all the door-to-door salesmen would like, they're gonna go to the most dangerous places to promote a security system. right?
Naturally.
So yeah, I was working in ghettos all the time. Great experience. Met a lot of cool people. Met some weird people. Had a lot of fun. Baltimore is a super fun city.
How long were you there?
It was like a summer job.
And did
so
you
like
live in
3
Baltimore, or were you commuting every day?
So we lived our apartment, which was paid for. Super dope apartment, like really nice. It was in Owings Mills. There was like a pool. It was a gated apartment with a
Good
garage.
security.
And it was you and Possum.
No, this was in Baltimore. Possum was Lock Haven, where I'm from,
Okay.
in Pennsylvania. My friend Ben,
Sin.
Benson.
Ben Benson!
who is also from Lock Haven. Actually, he's from Hawaii, but anyway, it was right. He asked me if I wanted this job in Baltimore. So me and Benson moved to Baltimore. Possum's out of the picture. But we lived in Owens Mills, which was like 20 minutes to half an hour outside of the city. So we would have to, I mean, it was always a commute because I was basically in my car and then had to drive around to wherever there was a sale and then go in and install the security system. So I was all over.
Was it hard work? Was it easy work? It's pretty chill or what?
It was chill. Like sometimes it was hard because sometimes you have to, or more, the easy ones are whenever you couldn't run the lines behind the wall. Like you had to cut a hole in the wall to put the panel on, run a wire down through the bottom or through the wall to the floorboard, cut a hole in there, fish your line out, run it to power, put sensors on all the doors, all the windows, motion sensors, test everything, call like the security company to make sure everything, they're getting all the signals and all that stuff. But overall it was pretty easy. But I did that there for a few months and then the job there ended and they asked if I wanted to move to New Jersey to continue to do that, and so that's what I did. Then went somewhere else and I moved to Watchung, New Jersey. Watchung. It's like central.
Dude, what was
Central
Jersey like? Did it suck? It was okay.
I've
Yeah,
heard that Jersey, besides like
There's
the city, is actually pretty nice.
like Jersey City or Newark, complete trash. No offense. But there's just literally
That's
trash
already a stigma.
trash lines the
Yeah,
the
it's
streets.
like New York City, right? There's
Yeah.
nowhere else to put it.
But then you get into one of the neighborhoods and it's really nice. You know, it's pretty much like fucking anywhere else. It's got its nice areas and its not so nice areas.
Yeah.
Did that for a while in New Jersey. Had a random roommate. We would go to New York City. He would go to New York City all the time, and then I went there one time just for a night out, and the place is fucking terrible to drive through.
Oh,
GPS
God.
is
Fuck
You
yeah.
don't
this is
want- you
back-
don't wanna
back
drive.
whenever you have a GPS system
Yeah.
on your dash.
Yeah.
Those things don't work because the buildings are so tall.
No
Driving
thanks.
down one-way streets and shit like that.
Yeah.
What was it, TomTom? You remember TomTom from back in the day?
TomTom.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck. Yep.
Fucking MapQuest. Get out of here.
I now have a
Dude,
my little
MapQuest.
truck on GPS. I call him Percy because he's green.
Because he's what? Green?
Green. He's the green
the-
truck. So like because of
Like
the
like
What does that have to do with Percy?
Percy the tank engine.
the tank engine.
He was green?
He was the green tank engine
I
in
didn't
Thomas.
know. I only know Thomas, yeah.
When he was
Interesting.
blue.
Alright.
You
Percy
ever watch
was the
that
green
show?
one.
Apparently not. Apparently not,
Who
bro.
are you?
Fucking loser.
Loser! Didn't watch
You know their
Thomas
bodies
the
are
Tank
behind the
Engine?
faces, right?
Shining Time Station?
In the tank.
Right. Oh, I just know they had faces. That's all I remember.
Anyway.
After Jersey, I moved back home.
To
and then
Pennsylvania.
to Pennsylvania.
Got it.
Shortly after that, my friend Kyle Ream, he was working for a construction company at the time, and I honestly can't remember the name of it, but he moved down to Georgia, to Fort Benning, to build barracks, and asked if I wanted to come down there to work. And
You
so
said,
that's
hell no, I've seen
I
enough
said-
barracks in my life.
No, yeah, I didn't even think about it.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. He went for like 6 weeks. Not judging. I'm sure it sucks.
It was like 8 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
Whenever you're there, man, it seems like a lot longer.
But you went and built some.
Yeah, you got out on good behavior. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're a nice man.
Nice boy. But yeah, he was working in Columbus, Georgia. Asked if I wanted to go, so I went down there, and that was quite the environment change. You
moved to Georgia.
Yeah.
And you were, how old were you at
Columbus,
this time?
Georgia.
21? 20?
21 or 22.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact timeline, but
Columbus, fucking Georgia. Were you near the ocean, or is that Midland or mid?
it's right on the border of Georgia.
Okay, so not the ocean.
Which border?
None of them are close to the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, but
right on the border of Alabama.
Okay.
So it's they're beneath and under one another.
Right on the border of racism. Got it.
Yeah, but I lived in the black community.
Nice.
Whenever I got there, it was like living in a Gucci Mane music video.
Gucci Mane music video. That sounds awesome.
It was awesome. It was so much fun.
And who were you living with? Who'd you move down there with? Did you move by yourself, or did you go with someone?
I went by myself. I drove down there by myself, but I was living with my friend Kyle Ream from high school.
Word.
And he was one of like 2, maybe 3 of my white friends, and the rest were all brothers. There was Young Scalp. He looked like Lil Wayne.
I'm sorry, Young Scalp?
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Nice.
You can find one of his music videos on YouTube.
It's getting good.
Eat That Cake Anime. Young Scalp. there was Bird.
Bird?
Yeah, he was
That's tight.
He was always in some sort of trouble with his baby mama.
That checks out.
And then there were the twins, whose name I cannot remember their names. And I asked Kyle what their names were, and he couldn't remember either. But they were from
twins.
Yeah,
It's the twins.
they were from Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana. Holy shit.
And yeah, they were super cool too. But yeah, we lived in the fucking hood. My house or apartment got broken into twice in the 3 months that I lived there.
And were you living by yourself, or were you living with somebody?
I lived with a cop.
Word.
And one time he was there whenever they broke in. Fucking passed out, hungover from the day before. I was at work. He didn't go to work that day. Yeah, my house got broken into twice in the 3 months that I lived there. I also wasn't making good money. Like, he moved down there whenever he was already working for the company. So whenever he moved down there,
this is still the security company, right?
No, this is. Whenever I moved to Georgia, it was for a construction job. Whenever the security company, whenever I left New Jersey, like, that job was just over.
Okay.
It was just like kind of like a seasonal thing here. Just like the salesmen, they go down to an area or whatever and walk around for so long to try and sell shit. And
did you like Georgia, or were you like, I gotta get the fuck out of here?
I mean, it was fun.
Sounds like you weren't making enough though.
Yeah, I wasn't. Like I said, Reem was making per diem for moving down there. And per diem, if you don't know, is for per day, like money for housing and food and stuff like that, which was like an extra $400 or $500 per paycheck.
Oh, that's
which
fucking legit as fuck. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I
You
wasn't
weren't
getting
getting
that.
it?
No, because I wasn't working for the company whenever I moved down there. I moved down there, then got a job with the company. So in their eyes, I didn't move from Pennsylvania with the company and go down there. I just got a job in Georgia. So it was just like a regular job.
Damn.
So I was just making way less money. I had zero luck with the girls there because I had a shaved head at the time, and it's next to Fort Benning, and all the military dudes have shaved heads. And so whenever you go up to talk to a girl, they just automatically think that you're military, and if they're not into military dudes, or
it's a hard yes or no.
Yeah,
Normally no. Sounds like
mostly no.
Mostly no. I feel that.
Yeah. between the lack of the ladies, lack of money, and the housing break-ins, I remember I went home for Christmas. I met a girl, or I don't think I met her, I knew her already, but we just started talking. And then I went back to Georgia, and we were always talking. She's like begging me to come back home, and so that's what I did.
Back home to Pennsylvania or back home to Georgia?
Moved back home to Pennsylvania.
Got it.
And moved in with this girl, and that ended up turning sour. She became crazy.
Yeah,
Naturally.
Was she Latina or?
No, she was white, just a little bipolar.
Latinas are pretty crazy, so.
I moved back, moved in with her, moved back out. Me and my two best friends, Zach and Joel, got an apartment together right on the main drag of the college campus. And so that was another really good time. But about that time is whenever I got my first job with Asplund Tree Company.
Asplunda.
And
I hate that name so much.
Asplund. It's just a person's last name.
I know. You see their trucks, their big tree trucks
Your
driving
name's
around,
Zeth.
and it's just it looks like ass plunder.
Ass plunder.
Whose
girl.
ass
We
are
got
they
your
plundering?
trees.
There's 0 R's in that
I'm
word.
aware of that, but you look at the name and just whatever my brain does says ass plunder, and you're like, why? Why are you driving around with that?
Well, Zeth he's learning how to read slowly.
This is a tree company, though?
Sorry.
In Pennsylvania. Tree company in Pennsylvania.
Well, they're the biggest tree company in the world.
Okay.
So they're worldwide. But
Oh.
yes, I got
Is
this
that what,
job.
the Americas?
I got what?
Just worldwide, generally. Doesn't mean worldwide. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Biggest
not a
company
shot at
in the
us,
world.
but-
Anyway, I got a job at Asplund with 3 of my friends, Nate, Scott, and Kyle. And that job was in Columbus, Ohio.
Ooh.
So that was just working out of town during the week and then coming back home on weekends. So I don't remember working 4 days or 5 days, but drive out there, stay in a hotel, and then work all week, come back home on weekends.
Were you 21 yet, or
Yeah, I
early
turned
20s?
21. Bobby, you gotta start paying attention.
Yeah, he's at least 23 now.
Alright, fuck you guys.
I
All I heard was ass plow,
It
so.
was ass plow. He was either 22
I'm sorry,
or so in
I-
Georgia.
Yeah, I maybe didn't mention, I turned 21 whenever we're living in Baltimore.
Okay, so when you worked for ass plow, you were like 23.
I don't remember how old I was.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
in my 20s. It
And
really
you-
doesn't matter.
How long did you live with that
Younger
girl?
20s.
Oh, a few months.
And then what? You moved back in with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Sorry.
Pay attention. Fuck you guys.
Sorry, buddy.
It's important. Like
There's
that's why
different-
you moved back to Pennsylvania, was for this bipolar chick.
Yeah, it is. I mean, also all the other shit, lack of money, no ladies, and living in the hood in a dangerous place
Of Baltimore.
of Georgia.
Got it.
All right, moving on. I got this job. These are all minor details. Anyway, I got a job with Asplund. We start working out of town in Columbus, Ohio, driving back and forth weekends and weeks.
Sucks.
That's whenever I got my name, Big Rig. Some of you know
The
that
Big
my name
Rig.
on Instagram is Big Rig D Miller,
Never mind, Instagram, that's what you are in my phone.
and
So it's
some
more
people's
important.
phones as well. Big Rig. That's literally I'm 30. I'll be 36 in
3 hours.
less than a month,
Oh.
and
Damn.
not as many. It's not as Big Rig quite as often as it used to be, but it was Big Rig for a very long time. But how that name came is nobody else on the crew had a license, so I was the only one allowed to drive the split dump truck, and I'm just driving it for the first time, and I'm like, just call me Big Rig.
Nice.
Grinding gears.
Like, did you have like a CDL license, or just you were like the only one with an actual driver's license?
It was just a regular driver's license.
Tight.
You didn't need a CDL at the time to drive those trucks.
I just know my friend who also knew a Devon Big Rig, or a Devon, I don't know, a Miller, Big Rig Miller, whatever it was. He was like, the only other guy that I know is you, and I didn't even know that you guys knew each other at the time. That's total tangent. I'm
Wait,
just
who?
excited.
Yeah,
Tully.
What?
Oh, totally.
He's. I was like, yeah, I met this guy named. He calls himself Big Rig Miller.
And he knew it?
And Tully was like, I only know one guy in Steamboat that calls himself that.
Did you guys work together?
Yeah,
Pennsylvania?
I worked with
No,
I worked
Tully
with Tully
did work
whenever
here.
I first moved here. We worked
Oh,
together at some random.
So why did they call you Big Rig Miller?
Just because I was like,
You're just
it's Big Rig, and then my Instagram.
Driving
the
And were you
dump.
driving dump trucks,
I
or?
was driving a split dump truck. So like the bucket split dump. It's a dump truck that you can throw shoot wood chips into, and then it has like an extra cabinet for extra seating.
Word.
That's all it was. A big truck.
Different.
And I self-proclaimed Big Rig. Did not think that it was gonna stick, and here we are,
Here.
many years later.
10 to 15 years later.
Was it cool? Like, did you like doing it, or did it suck?
Which part?
The driving the big truck.
No, I like driving trucks. I like driving big trucks. It's just so high up.
Yeah, that's what my boy used to do that too. He's like, yeah, you just all day just like this, just shaking around all the time. It's tight. I smoke cigarettes. Sick.
I smoke cigarettes.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
drive a truck, you smoke cigarettes or cigars, one of the two.
Damn, you were smoking cigars.
For a short time, I did
Shit.
smoke cigars.
That's pretty fucking baller.
This was years after the
Oh,
initial
that
Big
falls.
Rig thing. Yeah. I don't know what that was. Just I was like sick of cigarettes, and then you can just like have the cigar, smoke some of it, and then I just keep it in my mouth like
Let it
fucking
sit there.
Winston Churchill.
Damn.
I
That's
think it was
pretty
because
fucking gnarly.
I did look up to Winston Churchill. I read his biography, and he was a badass. So maybe it was a little bit of portraying.
Mhm.
Uh,
So where did Ohio take you?
Well, some fun things happened in Ohio. I got electrocuted. The very first tree I was ever, not the very first tree I was ever in was covered in poison oak.
Oh,
And
What were you doing in a tree?
so it was
trimming.
tree. So
Aspen?
I worked for there's a tree company.
All right, this is a
So, like,
completely different job from
All
Big
right.
Rig Miller.
So I'm going to explain what Aspen is. It's Aspen Tree Experts is a tree company, and we did tree clearance for power lines. So like there's a power line running through your neighborhood, and there's trees around it where the branches grow into it.
Yeah.
It's our job to clear the limbs away from the lines so that the power stays on.
Okay.
Heroes, actually. And honestly, shout out to all the fucking tree trimmers out there, because that is literally the hardest and most dangerous job in the world.
It keeps the modern world running.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
a lot of times you don't get paid shit for it. You're literally climbing trees with chainsaws.
And poison oak, apparently.
Yeah, and poison oak. But I didn't think that I got poison oak because I just never really been around it that much, I guess. Been around poison ivy, but
Poison ivy.
not poison oak, and I would never really get poison ivy too bad. So I thought that I wasn't allergic to it, and I found out that I was. It was like a little stump, and it was just completely covered in it. So I was all up in my face. I remember we went to the beach for a vacation, like the weekend after that, and my arms were just completely covered in blisters.
I'm extremely
Big black dots.
I'm extremely allergic to urushiol oil.
I
It's
don't
the
know
oil.
what the fuck that is.
It's in
Yeah.
poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac. And I'm
Jesus.
very allergic to all of it.
As a tree trimmer, you kind of
Yeah.
gain a little bit of a
No,
Immunity.
immunity
that's not a
to
thing. The more you're exposed to it, the more you react to it. So
Well,
some
as-
people that think that they're not, then become because they're like, oh, it's fine. They keep pulling on it, and it gets
Well,
worse.
obviously we avoided it, but as a tree trimmer, you always have at least like one little spot of
Yeah,
it.
fuck that. I'm way too allergic to that.
But there was the poison, and then the first real tree that I was actually in climbing, Scotty was down on the ground telling me what to do, and this place was, these lines were buried, and whenever I say buried, I mean like the power lines are going through, and these trees are like from both sides going into each other. And so he's like, all right, reach up, cut that limb. So I cut this limb. It just kind of falls. It doesn't actually fall all the way down. And he did not look to see where it was. And it was laying on this triple phase power line. He's like, grab it and pull it down. And I didn't look either. So I grab it. And as soon as I grab it, just fucking.
Oh, no.
And like, whenever you get electrocuted, it tenses all your muscles.
You
up.
can't
Oh yeah, you
So
can't
I
let
had
go.
to-
It's intense.
I had to like
Oh.
make myself let go, and then I looked down, and Kyle and Conrad are looking up at like,
I bet. Jeez.
and I'm like, woo!
Did you get super fucked up? Like, were you burnt? Like, what happened?
I got holes blown out of both of my feet.
What?
Just little tiny.
Like out of the shoes or out of your foot?
What?
The foot
Yeah.
It didn't. It burned holes in my sock, but it didn't come out of the boot.
Damn, that's fucking gnarly.
But out of both feet.
It's right here.
Just like these little tiny holes, and then there was like a little tiny hole in my finger where it went through, and then that's where it came out. Because the electricity is no fucking joke. That's the only thing, like one of the only things that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, dude, that's
That
pretty
shit
fucking
cooks you
gnarly.
from the inside out like a microwave.
No thanks.
I didn't get fucked up. I was super stiff, like my back was like stiff and in pain, and like apparently you're not supposed to go to sleep or anything like that, just in case. But we never told anybody about it because that would entail taking drug tests and stuff like that and all that stuff. We didn't need any of that.
Listen, bro, you're just gonna have to take this one on the chin. Like, none of us can test right
I
now.
was like, fuck that, I'm not telling anybody. I'm not.
Damn, dude.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was two of the things that happened there. I mean, working out of town was just an adventure in itself. Because I don't know if you know anything about, especially with tree trimmers, I don't know if you know anything about tree trimmers, but one of the requirements is that you have to do something bad.
What?
Like
What?
you gotta be like an alcoholic, a felon, have some sort of.
It's not an actual
That's
requirement.
a
it's just it's
prerequisite.
just a thing that happens.
Yeah.
You look too nice, bro. You can't work here.
For real though, you probably ain't gonna fucking hack it. It is by far the hardest job, but also the most rewarding job.
How long did you do that for?
I trimmed trees for ended up in 7 years or something like that.
Damn, for real? In Pennsylvania or Ohio?
Well, I mean, I worked all over the East Coast, like from Florida to Maine.
Was it the same company?
No, that's another thing about tree trimmers is you're always looking for the bigger pay, so constantly jumping between companies. Whether you want to work in town or out of town, and yeah.
But it was good money.
Yeah, it was good money.
Good ladies too.
No, not so
I
much.
doubt
I
it,
mean,
bro.
unless you can go out to the bar after work and stuff like that. But it's mostly hotel life with your boys. Yeah, it was good money because you're making per diem and stuff like that. And depending on the area and the power company that you worked for, would be more or less money.
What's per diem?
We've been over this.
Per day.
Oh, got it. That's right. My bad, guys. Sorry.
So it's just money for housing and food.
Housing and food.
Yeah, so I started trimming trees. Whenever I wasn't trimming trees, I was super into the gym. Everybody from back home was very into bodybuilding.
Did that have to do anything with wrestling?
I mean, wrestling was a really big sport back home, just in central Pennsylvania in general. But I mean, it's been years since. I think it was more just about looking fucking sexy and being able to push a lot of weight.
I just wondered if there was a
Being
correlation. That's all.
I mean, probably at least at some point, you know, I mean, or at least a little bit. Because I never really tied the two together at all. I hadn't wrestled since like 10th grade. But just looking sexy was important, and being big.
Oh god.
And I stayed natural for a really long time, way longer than most of my friends did, because the juice started flowing around town.
Mm-hmm.
Steroids for you.
The juice.
Don't know
The
what
juice for all you fucking prudes.
So I stayed natural for a really long time, and then my boys were like, "Dude, like you lift a lot of weight now. Imagine how big and strong you'd be if you started just pricking yourself."
Yeah.
And so I started pricking myself. And
Damn.
steroids are fucking sweet, dude.
I took
No,
flies
okay.
as a child.
I have never taken steroids. What is sweet about it?
I believe you. I don't ever see you taking juice just because you don't seem like, you know, a gym rat.
But does it make you like jacked? Like, do you feel sick? Like, what about it is awesome aside from getting muscles?
Feeling powerful, all powerful at all times.
And is it like extra testosterone for? So were you like ramped up? Like if you went out to the bars, you're like, fuck with me, bro. I'm fucking juiced.
Definitely a little bit.
Damn.
I mean, that also has to do with your personality too.
Yeah,
I mean, all steroids do. Like, there's a good way to take them, and there's a bad way to take them and abuse them. That's whenever people get the man tits and the fucking, like, you'd see a video of some dude that has biceps that are this big, but the rest of them looks like me.
Yeah.
Some stupid shit like that. If you do it correctly, I don't see what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, I took testosterone and Test 250 is what it was, and Decanate or Deca, which the testosterone was like, you know, to help build muscles, and then the Decanate was to help your muscles heal a lot faster. So basically, you just never got sore. So you could go to the gym for 3 hours every single day, and for muscles to heal, they're supposed to have rest, but that's what the Decanate did, and helped them heal without the rest. So you would just get fucking huge. Like,
Just
steroids aren't something that you can just take and you're gonna get muscles. Like, you'll just get fat if you just take steroids and don't work out.
Yeah, you gotta put it to something.
But yeah, it does make you feel like a god.
How long were you on steroids for?
A few years.
And you shooting it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either in your shoulder or your butt. And
Before
then
you work
cycle
out?
on,
Or
you
like,
cycle on, you cycle off. It was like a once a week thing. And then
Okay.
it also depended on you as a person and how much you wanted to take. Like, I had friends that would just fucking pump themselves full of So yeah, steroids. Do you have any more questions about steroids?
Yeah,
it makes you feel like a champion.
so many questions.
You said you were on 180? Right?
Somewhere,
It's like
somewhere
40
around there.
40 more?
Fucking huge.
40 more pounds. I am now.
Did it make you angrier?
Yeah.
When you were shooting up, were you angry with people?
I don't think that I was. Like, I don't think that I raged out, like, on people, especially.
Yeah.
And it's not like I wanted to fight every time that I went to the bar or anything like that. Whenever I would get... I really didn't even drink then. Yeah, I didn't go out. Because this is whenever we get into the pill thing. That drinking was not my forte. My forte was pills.
And what got you into pills?
Percocets. Perc 30s specifically.
What's a Perc 30 versus a regular Percocet? Or is that just what you call
just
it?
in milligrams.
Word.
They were the Perc 5s are like the small ones, and depending on the milligram, there's more, or like the 525, 125 or something like that. It's a little bit of drug school for you, pill school. It's like the milligrams of Oxycontin versus, or oxycodone versus acetaminophen, which is basically Tylenol. So the Perc 30s were just like pure.
They're serious. That was a serious Percocet as a 30. Yeah. And what got you into it? When did you make the transition from doing steroids to Percocets?
No, I was doing them at the same time.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. What brought you to?
I think I was doing P's before the ROIDS. And I don't know what specifically got me into them, other than they were around and I liked getting fucked up. And
Well, so what are clinically, what are they for? Is it like a pain?
yeah,
It's a serious pain.
So
yeah,
what
like
you
they
never
give them-
had
they
some
give those,
like injury?
They give those things to like cancer patients, and like they don't give those out for like broken bones and stuff like that.
They gave me
I
perks
suppose
when I fractured my skull.
Oh.
like probably like Perc
And
5s or Perc 10s or something.
yeah, they
too.
make you feel
Like-
super numb.
And so there was no event in your life, no cracked skull, that you started doing them. They were just around with your friend group. And
Yeah, they were just totally on an illegal basis.
And were you taking them
They're
with
just there.
booze too?
No, I didn't really drink during this time at all. Or I did. I didn't have beers, but I wasn't going out to bars. I spent all my money on pills, on the P's, and I was making a lot of money out of town. I was spending the biggest, or when I was spending the most amount of money, I would say on my own, just buying them. I was spending like $300 a week. And they were $30 a piece.
A pill, $30 per pill.
$1 a milligram per.
How
30
and how many were you taking like a day or a night? Were you doing it every day?
Yeah, definitely every day. I had a little pipe clamp. How they have the little holes in them.
Yup.
They crank it. And you
Mhm.
break that off, and you use it as like a little cheese grater.
Mhm.
And so.
So were you
just-
fucking snorting them?
Yeah. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
eating.
Alright, sorry, dude. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, because not everybody knows about that area. But yeah, I got super into those. I don't remember when or how, other than just doing them, and I really liked them.
And you were doing $300 a week for
Yeah.
how long?
Working out of town, like I would do them. At that point, like that was deep in too. Like,
Yeah.
that was whenever, you wake up and do a little bit of Percocet, or like right after breakfast or something like that. So, what was your question?
So what did you like about it? What about perks was like, this is my fucking jam, I gotta do it every day?
I
Just
don't
make
know.
you feel numb or what?
Not numb. Honestly, it wasn't. It like made me feel like I had no pain, and I could just be a fucking Superman.
Do
like I
whatever.
could work all day.
And
not-
that coincided with lifting, right?
Yeah.
Did you get wicked constipated?
Oh yeah. Wicked constipated.
That's just
That was definitely a thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And also one of the things with the fucking Percocets is like you couldn't take a piss too. It was really hard to pee.
Why?
You
That's really
get constipated, and like I don't know, you just like push really hard.
It just makes you feel like shit.
No, made me feel awesome. I mean, for like it's like anything. I mean, maybe not anything, but I don't
It's
know. I
like
just
drugs,
would
yeah.
like at first and I would assume this is with any kind of addiction, with like cocaine, heroin, anything like that. Like you start taking it and you get this one high, and then you're doing more to chase that high.
Yeah.
Chasing the dragon or whatever. And then after you do it for so long, and you just keep doing it and keep doing it, it starts to become more normal, and then you feel not normal without it.
Right.
And that's what it became. Like I would just without it, you get like pains, you feel everything because they're painkillers. You just just not
Becomes
feeling
super
anything.
numb. Yeah. Were you living with someone at the time? Were you dating someone? What was your home situation?
I lived at home for so I lived with Zach and Joel for a while, and that was before the P's. That was on the main drag of the college. That was whenever I first started trimming trees, and then once the P's came along, and that was like after a few years. I had a girlfriend at the time. She had like just graduated college, and I was living at home, and she lived in Austin, Pennsylvania, which was in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours away from my parents' house. So whenever I would come home on weekends, I would either drive 2 hours to stay at her house and then drive home and then go back to work, or drive the 2 hours, pick her up, drive back to my parents' house because I wanted to be at home, stay at home, then drive her back, then drive home.
Jesus fuck.
And I would do that like every weekend. And she knew that I was definitely hiding it, because it's another thing. Whenever you're having sex, you can't get off. Whenever you're
On perks?
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
Or at least for me anyway. Like
I'm sure
you
you're
can
not
just
the only one.
you can just do it for a long time and never get off. But so she knew but didn't like it, but I kept doing it anyway. Eventually, so we were working in Waterbury, Connecticut, and we found a Connect for pills there, and a lot cheaper than we could get them for back home. And also, whenever I was doing them before that, like one of my best friends he sold them, so it was very easy access and get hooked up and whatnot. But we found a Connect out of town, and eventually I just started buying them in bulk to sell to my coworkers and whoever else. Because like I said, coworkers, tree trimmers, you gotta do something bad.
How much was it to buy it in bulk? Do you remember?
Not really.
Can you ballpark
A
it?
lot cheaper. I would say probably, like, if you're just buying it by yourself, $30
$30
a
a
pill.
pill, yeah.
And then you bought them in bulk, like 20.
2,000? What do you mean 20? 20 pills. 20 pills at $30 a pop.
$20 a pill. And depending on how many you bought, also. Like if you bought, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I would usually get like 50 or so.
Was it lucrative for you, or are you just doing it to get more perks?
Mostly just doing it to do perks for free.
Yeah.
Make a little bit of money here and there, but mostly just to support my habit.
And you were snorting them.
Yeah.
Did you ever have nose issues? Did you get bloody noses and shit?
Not really.
Alright.
Never had any issues with that. Now I can't smell. And that's from a head injury years later.
You can't
That's
smell at all?
more issues with my nose now than I did whenever I was snorting shit.
How long were you on perks?
I don't remember. A few years.
And what made you decide you didn't need them anymore? Or what made you decide that you didn't want to do it?
So we were working in Waterbury, and I had that Connect or whatever, and was doing that. And then we eventually stopped working there, and we were working in near Portland, Maine. But in order to get there, we had to drive through Waterbury. So I was still stopping there
Yeah.
and hooking up and then going up. And one week we went to do that and stopped at my dude's house. And he just, usually I would go in. And then, but this time he just dropped him off outside.
Yeah.
Like just to the truck. And so grab him, pull off, and then fucking couple seconds later, cherries and berries show up behind us. And so we get pulled over, and I guess it was somebody staking out and watching, not even for this dude, my dude, for somebody else, but saw that and then pulled up on us. And so,
like, saw you using them or saw you buying them?
just saw the handoff.
The transaction? Okay.
And then it was not in a nice area of town
Yeah,
or anything like that. So they pull us over, and we had out-of-state plates. And they pull us over, pull us out, search us, search the vehicle and everything. And so stupid. We don't need to go into this part. But anyway, they find my shit, and I'll just say it. I had this little fucking kit. It was like those old like metal cigarette containers.
Yep.
That they would sell at gas stations.
Yep.
That's what I kept all my shit in. I had my little fucking pipe thing in there to shave, a little tutor, bag of pills, and my card for like cutting up lines or whatever. And I chose to use my old ID as my card. So
super classy.
fucking open it up. There's my picture. My name.
They're like, is this you?
Don't do drugs, kids. And yeah, so, but I ended up I had weed on me, I had perks on me, I had steroids on me, and syringes.
Damn. Do you know what
all
year this was? Like 2010-ish? 2012-ish? Because just before shit was legal, right?
Let me think. I moved here in 2013. I was probably 2 years, within 2 years before that. So, yeah, 2010, 2011-ish.
And did you get arrested?
Yeah.
Naturally?
Naturally.
And then what happened?
So it was all that happened in a school zone.
Oh, that makes it so much worse. Was it during school or was it at like nighttime?
No, it was at nighttime.
Alright, word.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
It's
that
in
doesn't make a
school zone.
difference. Yeah.
It's in a school zone. So,
God damn.
yeah, I get arrested. I was with two of my buddies. One of them had perks and weed on him too. He also had his pistol, which
Jesus.
we were in Connecticut and it wasn't registered in that state. So anyway, even if that wasn't a thing, drugs and guns never go
That was
well.
a terrible
So
look.
he was in a little bit more shit than I was, but still a few felonies of charges later. We spent a few days in the New Haven jail, which is the jail that Jim Morrison from The Doors.
Oh,
You know,
word? Word?
his like he has a poster. Of
Is that when he showed his
shut.
penis on stage?
Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
know.
He got arrested for that.
But he went to the New Haven jail. That's what his poster.
So,
and that's the jail.
how many of you got arrested that night? How many of you were going to work, right? You were going to work,
Yeah,
and then you just stopped to get drugs.
yeah. And there was three of us. Two of us got arrested. My other buddy had weed on him, but in Connecticut, it's decriminalized.
It's like a misdemeanor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even anything. So he was able to like take the truck and go to work and all that stuff. Well, me and my other buddy went to jail.
For how long?
I was there for a few days until I got bailed out.
Like
My parents-
drunk take status, or were you like in your own cell?
I don't
Were you in a community cell?
For the beginning, you're in a community cell.
Yeah. Do you know how much your bail was?
I don't remember those dates. I was facing a few felonies though for the possession of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it might even been like misdemeanors if it wasn't in a school zone.
Right.
But it was in a school zone, so they turned into felonies.
Did they drop it? What happened?
No, I got a lawyer, and he did his lawyer shit and basically like made it so that it was a first offense, which it wasn't my first offense. Like I'd had, besides the party, I'd been arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia. Like I was at a party, and I had a fucking bowl on me. Busted by the same fucking cop too that arrested me for the fucking.
Was he a dick?
For the house party?
Yeah, he fucking tricked me, dude. I was in this the rugby house at the time, and he knocked on the door. Like the house was getting busted, and I was upstairs, like away from the party, like looking for liquor to steal or something like that.
Nice and classy.
And somebody knocked on the door and was like, "Devin, let me in. The cops are out here." And I'm all drunk, and I open up the door, and it's fucking Coleman standing there. And he just fucking grabs me and yanks me
What a
outside.
fucking dick!
I know, right? But yeah, so it wasn't my first offense, but it was my first offense for like felonies or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but anyway, I ended up getting off with like a fine, and then besides the fine and lawyer fees, a few grand in lawyer fees, I was good to go. But around then, that's whenever I thought to myself, maybe I'd get off the P's. And so I started weaning myself off, but I did it with another drug, Suboxone, which was supposed to be used for weaning people off of addictions.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to, if you take it the correct way, then it takes your symptomatic, like, pains and stuff away from the withdrawal.
Mm.
But if you abused it and snorted it, is like basically like synthetic heroin and is get you super fucked up.
So it was worse than Percocets.
It was just, I mean, it was just a different it was a different feeling. It was stronger and cheaper. Yeah, but it wasn't good. But that's what I used to. I originally was using that to wean myself off of Percocets. Also lost my Connect in Connecticut, or just wouldn't go there. I didn't want to go there anymore. So that just kind of ended, and didn't really have access. Found Suboxone, started using it, but then I was like, eventually I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're just spending all your money on searching for this stuff, buying this stuff, and it's not good. You just, you're going down the wrong path, I suppose. So
Did you lose your job that time when you got arrested and didn't make it out to?
No, because I wasn't on the clock. It comes back to tree trimmers.
They understood.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
They understood. Oh, an employee's in jail?
Yeah.
All right. Guess we're a couple men down today, guys. It's funny because it's true.
Like, they wouldn't get it.
I believe you, dude, for sure. That's gnarly. I had a friend who had to sober up from Percocets. He said it was fucking intense. Like,
yeah, it's not fun. You definitely, it's painful.
Yeah, he had wicked withdrawals, and he did it cold turkey. So he did like a week's worth of just like cold sweats at night and just feeling like shit and like whatever. But
yeah, I've definitely done that, but just because I couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah. So how long were you on? What was it, Suboxone?
Yeah. I don't know, a bit, and then they had, so they quit making the pills, and then they started making the strips, because the point of this drug was for a rehab,
Interesting.
And then people were using it to get fucked up. And so they started making these little tiny strips.
Yeah.
And so I started getting those because it did help with the withdrawal symptoms and made me feel normal.
How long did this all last? Like going through Suboxone? Like a while, or
Like years, or
we
like
talking weeks, months,
months?
a year, or two?
A year or two.
Okay.
So from Percocets to Suboxone to the end of everything.
And were you still doing tree stuff the whole time?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 years.
It was good money though, right?
Yeah, I made good money. I also spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
That checks out.
That's what you do when you make it.
Yeah, so I definitely still have an addictive personality. Hence why I'm fucking on the nicotine still.
I'm with
Been
you,
on
bro.
nicotine since I was very young.
I have a super addictive personality. Mine's weed, which is weak. That's what people use to get off shit, but like, you know, I feel it. I feel you.
I mean, I love weed. I think more of alcohol though. Like, I get off work and like one of the first things that I think of is a beer or the liquor store. Most of the time, not all the time. It's getting better, but
Yeah.
still have an addictive personality. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
once an addict, you're kind of still always an addict.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, through the strips, I eventually weaned myself off of everything completely. And I don't know, can't say I'm proud of myself, but I never had any kind of help with it.
Right.
I did it myself.
It's a big deal. It takes a lot of self-control to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And to like identify and realize yourself that you have a problem, one, and then to like kick the problem. That's a big deal for sure. That takes a lot of self-control.
Thanks, man.
Dude, I'm serious. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's hard.
totally.
Not a lot of people can do that shit.
Very true. I'm glad that it was just what it was, I guess, and not something more intense.
Mm-hmm.
Because back home too, there was always, I mean, like in high school, there was a really big heroin problem in our school, and so I'd always been around it, which is kind of weird that I would go to that after seeing what I saw in high school.
What did you see in high school? What do you mean?
Just people like ODing in the middle of class and stuff. It wasn't really necessarily my class. Whenever
In the middle of class? That's fucking gnarly.
yeah, I mean, and also it went into, it stuck around. But I remember like one specific year, it was like the senior class was like really bad into it, but it continued to. I remember one girl, like in the lunch line, she was so fucked up on heroin that she went to go give the cashier money for her lunch and like grabbed her bag and like out of her pocket and was holding it out.
Like just the bag.
Like
yeah,
drugs.
like
just-
her bag of fucking heroin.
Is this okay? Is this enough? Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so it was always around me, but I never fucked around with heroin at all.
So after you sobered up from pills, what happened next? Anna's real bored.
That was Anna. After that, I was still trimming trees, but then we got laid off just because like the job in Maine or wherever we were ended, and then we didn't have another contract.
Yeah.
So we just were able to go on unemployment and not have a job for a bit. And so that's what I was doing. I was living at home at my parents' house, not paying rent and making unemployment. So I was just doing whatever the fuck I wanted.
You and it.
I started drinking more than. Sorry.
Well, also, you just have a sister, right? That's your only sibling.
Yeah.
Was she at home? What was she doing?
She went to school in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
and whenever she graduated high school and went there, she pretty much just stayed there, and then ended up meeting her now husband.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't for a few years afterwards, but yeah, that's what she was doing.
But you were at home. Were your parents like leaning on you in any way, like to get a job, to move out, to do something different?
Well, I mean, I was trimming trees for 7 years or whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then all of a sudden I'm just laid off. So no, they weren't like get another job because I was like, no, one, and
That's a long fucking time, dude. 7 years.
yeah, it was a big part of my life. I love trimming trees, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're just out in the woods. Well, a lot of the time, depending on the type of work you were doing, whether it was distribution or transmission work. Transmission work are the big power lines that run through the mountains and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then whenever you're doing that, you're just out in the woods. You rarely see a boss. And then just hanging out with the boys running fucking chainsaws and cutting down trees. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, that sounds tight as fuck. I love chainsaws.
Me too.
Seriously. They're really fun.
They are. But at that time, got laid off, and that's whenever I met Jessica, who is the girl that I ended up moving out here with to Colorado. Yeah.
And this was in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we
right?
went to this rave or like music festival at Tussey Mountain, like the ski hill in State College where Penn State is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went out to one of the clubs downtown State College where the actual campus is. And I met this girl, Jess, and we just kind of hit it off, started dating. She told me that she was planning on moving to Colorado for an internship, and ended up asking if I wanted to come with her. And
How long had you guys been together at the time? Do you know?
Few months.
Few months?
Yeah.
What was her internship for?
It was at Yampatika.
Oh, where?
Yampatika.
Yeah. And she was moving out here for like the internship for a summer.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan was that she would move out here, do the internship, and then move back or come back after that the internship was over, and then we would like drive out together to like live. But whenever she was out here during the summer, I kind of got ghosted a little bit.
So she moved out first without you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, we all live here now. And
Yeah.
as you can imagine, a first summer in Steamboat is pretty different than what was
Most other places.
Yeah, than most other places, especially central Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely get that. But it was, heartbreaking to me. I would call her and shit like that, and she wouldn't answer. Never call me back or text back and stuff like that. And then eventually she did come back. I remember I knew she was coming back, and I knew that she was going to like her friend's house where I knew it was, or where the address, and she was still not hitting me up. She had been home for a few days and was still not texting me. We hadn't like talked, we hadn't broken up or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I went there and like surprised her and was just like, what the fuck? But anyway, we ended up breaking up. She broke up with me.
Doesn't matter. Minor detail. But so you.
Sorry, Jess. We tight now.
Yeah, whatever.
Still
Throw
lives
on the
here.
bus. It's cool.
But she broke up with me, and naturally I'm fucking devastated.
But you hadn't moved out here yet. You were still in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just like planning on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still the whole time she's not talking to me, like still trying to keep a positive attitude about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that happened, just got super depressed, super sad. Like, not only did I get dumped, but my plans of moving across the country to Colorado were ruined. And I'm just like back here fucking trimming trees.
How long had you guys been together at that time? Do you remember?
Well, we were together for a few months before she moved out here.
Okay.
And then throughout the summer, I don't remember exactly when during the summer she moved in and back or whatever.
It's like
I'd
roughly 9 months.
Probably like 6.
6 to 9. Okay.
6 is something like that.
Yeah.
But like we kind of kept talking whenever like she moved back out here and I stayed back in Pennsylvania, and we kept talking even though we were broken up. And I was like telling her that I was super depressed and sad and all that, and she like lightened up. I don't know what the fuck happened, but she's like, maybe you can. Oh, I also went out there, came out here to visit her during the summer too, and fell in love with the place too. Like we went fucking cliff diving and shit, and met a bunch of people.
Whoa, you went cliff diving?
Green Mountain Reservoir.
Okay. I'm sorry, my initial thought was like base jumping, that is not cliff diving. Okay.
Completely different.
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so like I had been here and like wanted it even more. Then that happened. Yeah, we keep talking, and ends up me actually moving out here and moving in with her for like just to be a short time until I found my own place.
You guys weren't together though.
Not together at the time.
Got it.
Naturally, get back together.
Yeah.
And then it's like goes through that whole get together, break up, get together, break up thing for a bit.
Yeah.
And I got my own place, and yeah, we ended up breaking up, like for real. And I remember, sorry, Jess.
You fucking throw her on the bus. Who cares?
I remember. I'm not throwing her under the bus. This is just what happened and what I remember. The house that I got was with some random dude in Mountain Village, or no, Quail Run, and she was living in Shadow Run.
Yep.
And so I had to drive past her house to like get anywhere. And whenever she started seeing other people, I would see if that car was parked out front, like in the morning.
Super sucks. Super shitty.
And she was hanging out with this one dude, and I remember one time I came home and his car was there, and I threw one egg on his windshield.
Just one.
Yeah, that'll prove my point.
She called me out on it later too.
You're like, that could have been anybody.
But yeah, besides that, like I got a job. I nestled in to Steamboat, and
What was
called
your first
it home.
job here?
I worked at 4 Points Lodge. Bobby knows where that's at.
Where is that, Bobby?
It's a lodge on the mountain. It's got a great view of the valley.
But I would have to snowboard to work every day. Like that's the dopest. That's the dopest fucking first job to have at a ski mountain
Hell yeah.
town ever.
That's awesome.
Especially for never being here. I thought I was good at snowboarding before I moved here.
Yeah.
And then you experience your first like powder day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, I suck.
Yeah.
It was intense. But you learn how to snowboard quick or ski quick whenever you have to do it literally every single day to get to and from work. That's also where I met some of my best lifelong friends. People like Kelsey, Pete, Will, Aaron, Brett Baker, Brian, Brando, or the Brando or the Bama Boys. And a lot of their names start with B. Bama Boys.
Bama boys.
Yeah. Sean, Kelsey's brother, who I met through Kelsey, and then I just continued to meet like a lot of the people that I met living here, and that are some of my best friends were through those people at 4 Points. After 4 Points, I didn't work there the next year. Actually, maybe I did. I don't remember. Anyway, I ended up getting another job at Asplund, same tree company. I did that for a year. And then I remember I was in this pine tree, cutting it up, and just covered in snow. It was the middle of winter. And just like a big pile of snow, like fell on me and like went down my shirt and shit. And I was like, fuck this shit.
that was the moment of your life. No more.
I was like, I want to make snowboards.
Oh,
That's what I decided that I wanted to do.
Okay.
So then I signed up for college.
You would instead get snow down your back on purpose while snowboarding.
Yeah. I just wanted to make snowboards. Like, I love snowboarding and I wanted to make them.
Okay.
So I decided that I was going to go to college. It's Colorado Mountain College in town here for the ski and snowboard business program. And through that program, specifically the ski and snowboard product and design class, which was a class where you basically mock build a snowboard company from the ground up, present your company to actual ski and snowboard buyers at the end of the semester, and then they pick a winner, and then you get whoever wins gets one of their models of their skis or snowboards made. And through that class, I realized that I did not want to make a snowboard company.
Well,
That's what I like making snowboards. That's not just what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a snowboard company.
Yeah.
I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset where I don't want to work for other people. And that kind of leads us into this fucking podcast right here. But yes, so school didn't work out again. I went for like 2 years or so for a 2-year degree and didn't finish all my classes. I had to take algebra, which I didn't want to take, and it was expensive. I was paying for college either through loans, and then once the loans ran out, then I couldn't really afford to live on my own, pay rent and all my expenses plus college classes. And I also just kind of lost interest, so I quit going.
Yep. It checks out.
Yeah, so I went to college and then stopped going to college. I got a DUI.
In Steamboat?
In Steamboat.
Okay.
Went to jail again for that. Lost my license for a while. And then I was basically just living the steamboat life. You know, multiple jobs.
Seasonal.
Working seasonal, multiple seasonal jobs, just jumping from job to job. I worked in kitchens. I worked carpentry. I worked for this lady, Stacy, doing just side work at her house or for her company randomly. And then ended up working for her like full time. So yeah, this is kind of where I wanted to get into where my direction really started to change. You know, whenever you are living, at least for me, I'm just living paycheck to paycheck, year after year after year after year after year after year. And for some reason, I'd always been under the impression, like, you know, you just keep fucking working hard, busting your ass, and you'll be okay. And I just found myself in the same spot all the time. And so I've always been looking for something different, but didn't really know what I was looking for. And I knew that I had more of a purpose than just kind of existing. And like living in steamboats, great. Just if you're able to work and survive to pay your rent and everything, like all the stuff that goes on here is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, I've just always kind of pictured myself having more than that, but I never knew where to find it. So I started working for Christie Sports as a ski tech in the rental department, and I did that for a while at one shop, and then moved over to another shop. And then at that time, so I want to jump to mushrooms real quick.
Okay.
Mushrooms.
Interesting tangent.
Yeah.
Let's go down that road.
So I have taken mushrooms
We
a
all
few
have.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like before,
Like in salad.
That was it. We know we all taken shrooms. Get the fuck out of here. We're adults.
I hate mushrooms.
I'm not a big fan
It's
either.
like the one thing I can't eat.
We ate them last time we were here. We had mushroom tacos.
They were cauliflower.
We had cauliflower mushrooms last time we were here. Fuck. Alright,
not
I'm
even
sorry.
this kind. Magic cauliflower. I mean mushrooms.
Magic cauliflower.
So you've not taken shrooms then?
Oh no, I've taken them.
Alright, well then fuck off. Go ahead, Dan.
Personally, I'm a big fan of mushrooms.
Okay.
Why are we jumping to that? Is that where you?
So, yeah, I mean, well, I've taken mushrooms plenty of times before. Like whenever, not in high school, but out of high school, there was this festival called Chuck's Farm, which was, we called it Hippie Festival.
Yeah.
Or Chuck's Farm. It was basically just like, any other kind of big festival, just not like super. I mean, it was very well organized, but it was just this guy that owned a cornfield and owned a fucking festival every year. So I had much experience with mushrooms back home in PA and also in Colorado, but I never really tried microdosing before. And I learned about microdosing and from this girl who was a nurse, and she said she like did it regularly and loved it. And I don't remember, I knew that I had heard like what it can do for you, or like I would always take mushrooms in large quantities to get fucked up.
Naturally, yeah.
But never just in very small doses to like kind of change your brain waves a little bit.
Yeah, what does it do when you microdose it? Like,
That's what it's supposed to do. It's just, I mean, they use it for therapy, for like PTSD,
Yeah.
anxiety or depression, or
Just like stimulate your mind in a different way, kind of thing.
yeah, it can change your
Open different neural pathways.
to be more positive, I guess, or just change them. I mean, I'm sure it could change them in a more negative way too, but they do use it for therapy, and I'd heard that it can help with, I don't know, my idea was that maybe I could just do it or try it and something would happen.
Yep.
And then she gave me the website to a place where you could order them in Canada.
This is website slogans.
Yeah.
Tight.
I
We'll
have
talk about that
this-
later.
Yeah. For anybody that's interested, you can direct message me on any of my social show notes, and I can give you the site, but I'm not gonna put a link on this.
Put on blast.
Yeah. But basically, I ordered the stuff, and then through some secret ways, you it shows up super quick, and it's in this little. It's just ground up powder, basically. They have all kinds of different products and stuff too.
Yeah.
But you just take. It has little tiny spoons, like a quarter of a milligram, or like 0.05 of a milligram, and so you put it in. I would put it in smoothies, but whenever I started doing that is whenever I kind of got interested in some different things. So it was around the time that Dogecoin, you know what Dogecoin is?
Kind of.
Or
I know of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily understand what it is. Is it similar to Bitcoin?
In a sort of way, in the sense that
it's similar but completely different.
It's yes.
Yeah.
Completely different in the sense of a lot of things, but it's a meme coin.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency, but it was blasting off at this point in time.
Yeah.
That was whenever Bitcoin was at its highest, and I was working with my friend Preston, and we would talk about this kind of stuff all the time. He was into the Doge and was making a bunch of money off of it. Because if you don't know, this is whenever Bitcoin was like at its highest. Pretty much everything was just day after day. It was just fucking riding up. So you could throw in $1,000 and then maybe a few days later it quadrupled or something like that.
Yeah.
And knowing nothing about it, I bought some and I did make good money, but I also didn't know anything about it. Like I said, like investing or trading, and that's essentially what I was doing, is jumping into the trading environment without knowing anything about it. I didn't realize you're supposed to like sell at the top for like profit, and so like, and also didn't know anything about markets, fluctuations, or how any of that kind of stuff works. And so it gets to the top, I don't sell, and then it starts dropping, and then I'm like, it's gonna go back up, it's gonna go back up,
Yeah,
and it's just dropping. Mm-hmm. So I'm just down, and then I keep holding whatever. But anyway, that's about the time that my mind shifted from thinking about money to a different way. I have some things written down here. I started thinking about money differently, or just how to make money differently. I was never into investing or anything like that. Nobody ever really taught me about it. My parents weren't into it. They did like the whole MLM thing, which has led to the party or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never really taught too much about stocks or bonds or anything of the sort. And it just kind of started fascinating me. Learning about where money came from, how money's made, like why is this worth this? Why is this $20 bill worth $20 besides it says the number 20 on it?
Right.
How our government and how our economy runs, and just where everything comes from. Markets, stocks, all that stuff just started fascinating me. So I just kind of dove in and started learning all the things that I could learn. I just saw a note in here that I did really want to touch on. So we're gonna jump back real quick.
So was it profitable for you though?
Touch that.
The Doge.
It was, but then like I said, I didn't sell whenever it was at the top. So
Did you end up losing money?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my short few years of investing and buying and selling stocks or crypto or whatever, all that stuff, I've definitely lost a lot of money, but I've also learned a lot from that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to jump back to, which I think is super important to who I am now and why I think like I do and how it's changed. One of my really good friends, Marcus LaPlante, he shot himself in the head in front of some cops. This just seems like a really shitty way to.
What?
Yeah. So
in front of some cops?
Yeah, he had a lot of demons.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. This is a really weird transition. But I just felt it was really important.
Well, who's Marcus? What's the little backstory on Marcus?
He's one of the pictures that's on my fridge. But he's just he was a really good friend. I knew that he always had some fucked up shit in his head, like insomnia. He could never sleep. But I never really knew the extent of it. And then all of a sudden one night, the cops got called to his house or something like that, and he killed himself in front of all these cops. Fucking shot himself in the head. And then that took a really big hit on me. I didn't really know how to handle that because I've never had handled any kind of loss like that before.
Mm-hmm. That's a traumatic loss too. That's not like something natural. That's him taking his own life. That's a whole another thing.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because my thought process on that whole thing changed a lot. Because whenever I was growing up in my Christian family, like the Bible teaches you that suicide is wrong and will be punished by living eternal life in hell.
That's like the biggest thing you can do is suicide.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So I was always just super against it, and I always just considered people that would kill themselves as pussies.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have the courage to
live your life. Yeah.
But it's a lot more complex than that.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because you never know what people are fucking going through.
No, and it hits home real hard when it's personal like that. Because you probably didn't know that he was suicidal.
No, not like that at all. I mean, like I did. No, like he would reach out sometimes and be like, need somebody to talk to or whatever, and then I'd tell him to come over, and me and AJ would talk to him and just hang out all night. But I never knew the extent of it, that it was that deep. And it just kind of makes you think about, people that you interact with every day, that you may not have any idea what they're going through, or if they got some fucking demons in their head.
So what did it do to you? Like, how did it change you personally after his suicide?
I think all the things that all of us, I think, can take for granted every day. Like, even just friends.
Mm-hmm.
Just people being around. People caring for you. People being there and whatnot. Sometimes if you see a friend every single day, whether it be at work or just anybody out on the street, that like even just an acquaintance or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, to take advantage of the time that we have here and make it worth a little bit more than just live in. I don't know if that makes
No, yeah.
any sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, that was. I just wanted to bring that up because it was something that affected me a lot.
And did it make you want to live more? Like, did it change your perspective on life in any way? Like, did it make things like, I don't know, more beautiful or some shit? I have no idea. Like, how did it affect you?
I was sad for a while, but then like his mom was really cool, and she like kept on with his Facebook and would answer messages and stuff, and she would always encourage anybody that needed to talk to message her. And so I did that a few times.
That's actually really cool. I lost a real good friend of mine when I was like 26 or something like that. He got in a motorcycle accident, got killed by a drunk driver, and they took his Facebook down. And I always thought, like, I wish they would have kept it up just for people to kind of just message and stuff. Like, I remember his phone number was active for a while still, and like me and a couple friends would call and like leave messages and shit like that. And that was pretty big. So I think that's a huge deal that his mom kept up with his Facebook and shit like that for friends and family and stuff like that. Because that's big to keep the memory alive.
Yeah, allow people to, I guess, almost still feel like they were talking to him. Like if they
big time.
Keep it, if they kept it up, like through his birthday and stuff. Even just for her, like to see all his friends like still reach out and say happy birthday. And that kind of stuff.
That shit's hard, man. We did for a few years, probably for like 3 or 4 years, she would host a party on his birthday, and everyone would come out and stuff like that, and just have a good time and kind of remember stuff. But it's just not easy. And we lost him naturally. Like it's a completely different game when you lose someone to suicide like that. It's hard.
Yeah. I remember they had a memorial for him at OTP. And I cried my eyes out.
Oh, hell yeah.
I spoke up front and then cried a lot.
I sang at my boy's funeral and did my whole song, and then immediately after just bawled, dude. Cause like his family was up front, and I went and shook all their hands and hugged them and everything. It's fucking hard to lose someone close to you like that, especially like at that age too, because you're still pretty impressionable. You know, you're still figuring shit out. That shit's gnarly.
Yeah, but luckily there was a big community of people around to support everybody.
Mm-hmm. And so what happened next then? How'd you pick yourself up?
I don't know. Probably fucking whiskey. I don't remember what happened after that. That was years ago. But I don't know. I just wanted to. It doesn't really have to do like nothing from that besides like realizing and seeing more about life and being appreciative of what's around you. Like that's how it affected me, I guess. But
just like your perspective on life.
Yeah. Because I guess I've always been going through life as, you know, day to day and not really, you know, like, I feel like, at least me, we can take advantage of what's just around all the time. Like I said, like your friends and stuff, and, you know, it just got me to appreciate more. Like me and Jenny, we write down our gratitudes every day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that becomes hard too, because like it's like you don't want to write down the same thing every day, even though we write on each other's names every day. So you end up thinking, like, just looking around the room, like, what am I thankful for today? I'm thankful for a stove. Which, you know.
It's hard sometimes, though, because you can, it's easy to focus on negative things. You think about all the shit that's bothering you. It's hard to focus on stuff that empowers you.
When things work and are going well in your life, you don't appreciate them the way that you do if they're not there.
So. Yeah, so that's why we started writing down gratitudes, so we can remind ourselves what we're appreciative of. But anyway, we'll jump out of that little gloomy part. R.I.P. Marcus, love you, buddy. Miss you.
R.I.P.
Like Conrad, I don't want to pour one out on my rug.
I don't might look it up, but
we get the sentiment.
Yeah, so before that, we were at the transitioning part of my thinking. After that, I just wanted to learn everything that I could about money, and just not just about money, but the people who are like, you know, like Warren Buffett or Robert Kiyosaki. I would get into, first it was real estate. I would listen to Bigger Pockets podcast. You know what Bigger Pockets is?
No.
It's a really popular real estate podcast. But listen to Bigger Pockets. I wanted to invest in or buy multifamily properties and rent them out, just own them and like collect properties just to like build wealth, which I still want to do.
Was this directly correlated with your friend's suicide, or is this just kind of like
the
next step in life?
This isn't correlated to Marcus at all. It's just after the microdosing, and I think that my mind just shifted towards actually wanting to do something different.
Well, it sounded like you went from like a point in your life where you're paid paycheck to paycheck. You kept, you know, so to speak, banging your head against the wall of labor and not getting where you wanted to, and then you realize there's a better way to do this.
Like I bust my ass every day to just be in the same place. It's like I know that there's more out there. Like through my parents' business stuff, like I would listen to millionaires and see people making money and just know that there's other stuff out there. And I know that I knew that it wasn't through just having a job and busting your ass every day. Or at least busting your ass for other people.
Yep.
Because that's another thing that I've learned through this investing and just like entrepreneurship, trying to come up with what kind of business I want to create, I think it takes me to like working in a ski shop. Sometimes during busy season and stuff like that, we're just like, fuck you, customer. Like, fuck you and your money coming here, and I'm just gonna buy $10,000 worth of equipment. Here's my card.
Right.
But more times than not, I guarantee you, whoever is spending that money fucking busted their ass to be able to just spend money like that. There's also, you know, maybe they just have a very high credit card limit and they've just fallen out. and they like to live their life in debt. But if somebody's wealthy and is successful, and they didn't just luck out by getting it from mommy and daddy whenever they died.
Yeah, trust fund babies.
They fucking worked really hard to do that, because building something from the ground up ain't fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that through this thing, through this pod, even just recording on my cell phone and using these little mics right here. I've tested multiple mics. I am now a sound engineer, a videographer, a writer, fucking sponsor finder, literally everything. And it takes so much more time than I pictured whenever I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast.
Well, I think investing in yourself is one of the hardest things to do. You don't realize how much has to actually go into it until you start doing it. You know, so much of our lives are working for someone else where something's already established, and you know, you kind of just clock in and get a paycheck, and that's all you think about, and you don't really.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, you don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about the company. You don't think about anything about that. All you care about is cashing your paycheck. So when you start to work for yourself, and when you start to create something new, it's hard. There's so much smaller things that you just don't realize you have to do, because it's always been, you know, provided for you. So there's a lot that goes into making yourself.
And that's also, or like part of that, at least for me, like I had no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, working in a ski shop, or not necessarily just a ski shop, any job that I did, I never found, like I really like trimming trees, but I never had there was no meaning to what I was doing.
Just no personal
passion.
fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a job.
It was just a job to make money. And I think that's also why I'm constantly coming up with ideas of how to make money. Like I studied the real estate shit for a long time. Read books, Multifamily Millionaire. Then I jumped to solar. I wanted to build a solar farm.
Mm-hmm.
I started studying solar equipment, like voltages and acreages of solar farms, how much power it takes to run a solar farm to supply a town, just all the details of that. I got in touch with electrical companies to see if they had any interest in like creating a solar farm, or like I dove into that. What else did I do? Me and Jenny started an LLC, which we jumped the gun on, just because we were talking about real estate development with smart pads. Jumped the gun on the LLC. Turns out you really don't need to start an LLC until you actually have a business and are making like over $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have shit yet.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm just paying fees to have an LLC. My idea was that I would just filter my income of all these business ideas through this LLC for the tax benefits. Yeah.
So where do you stand today with everything? Financially, with your business plan, with what you're trying to do? What's your plan right now?
Right now, building this podcast company. And learning through the tears of all the shit that I've been into, I found that I'm really interested in day trading, and so I'm learning how to day trade the foreign exchange markets right now. I've been doing that. I started live trading in March.
Mm-hmm. Is it working out? Are you still getting started?
It's
Which
hard.
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
sure it is. On top of having to work a regular job and still support yourself.
I still have money left in my account.
That counts.
There you go.
I have a lot.
That definitely counts.
on the terms of where the amount of money that I started at versus $0, I'm much closer to what I started at than
$0.
$0.
So you're essentially breaking even.
I'm getting there. I'm not at break even. I'm definitely down.
Okay.
right now. But trading is fucking hard. There's so much more to it than just trading. There's a whole psychological aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because our brains are trained to protect ourselves
Excuse me.
and the things that we have, like our money.
Yep.
And markets are crazy. Like anything can fucking happen. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. I really have to use my brain and concentrate really hard
Mm-hmm.
and focus on something. And you could be right, you could be wrong. It's exciting. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Creating this podcast and building my trading skills so that I can make that into actual profession.
So the end goal is essentially to work for yourself, right? To be
Yeah.
sustainable as a Devon enterprise.
You know, the Devon and Ginny enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it's not just like, I don't want everybody to think that I am just like a money hungry piece of shit or something like that, or just a money not even necessarily a piece of shit, just a money hungry dude. Yeah, I do like nice things. I want to be able to go out to eat whenever I want to and not have to worry about am I gonna have enough money left to be able to afford regular dinner for the rest of the week. If somebody that I see in the grocery line that's in front of me can't pay for their food, I want to be able to fucking pay for their food. I also want to be able to like make enough money that I can create businesses or projects or fund or invest in things that I believe in that are good for the environment, good for humanity. Like, I'm not just a selfish person that I just want money for myself. Like, I want, like, that's where it comes back to the purpose. And I want to help. I want to be able to create something that can help the world, or even just a small amount of people.
Yeah.
I think that matters.
So not necessarily financially driven, but more community driven. Like it's not a personal game.
I also do want a fucking dope ass car.
Naturally.
And a nice fucking house.
Yeah.
With an office that's a little bit bigger than this one.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a real studio or something like that.
And you feel like you're on the right track to achieve that?
I don't know, man. We'll see.
You're just trying things right now?
Yeah. I'm not quitting trading. I'm getting better. I had my biggest win ever last night.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. There you go.
44 pips.
Don't know what that is, but good for you. Gotta get those pips.
Points. Points and percentage in the foreign exchange market. What I trade every a percentage of a cent, basically, that it goes up is called a pip.
Mm-hmm.
Points and percentage.
So, as it stands today, what's your goal for life?
I would like, by the time I'll be 36 on June 8th, I would like to be retired from working for other people by the time I'm 40. Short-term goals, it would be super dope if I was making enough money through trading and this podcast by wintertime that I didn't have to get a full-time job. And then
So you don't like your coworkers.
it's not that, brother. Trust me.
You want to be self-sustainable.
I fucking love you guys.
Yeah.
I just don't like going to work.
Yeah,
I
I
hear
get
it.
that.
Ski 100 days.
Oh my
During
God.
Season.
3 days away, guys.
Ski in 3 different countries in a season.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like that.
Interesting. That's an achievable goal.
Yeah, and I just want to. I've always been a big dreamer, and I got big dreams. And now that I have a little bit more direction of where I want to go, I see it. I see it happen. I don't see it not happening.
Mm-hmm.
I work too fucking hard, and I think about it too fucking much for it to not happen.
Stay focused, stay determined. Eventually you'll get something.
I also like through this podcast. I don't want like my goal is not just money either.
Mm-hmm.
Like I chose this as a path for myself because I have always felt like I have more of a purpose than just like surviving or just making money or whatever. Like I like helping people, and I like helping people.
Like bringing people together. Like,
Bringing people together,
like continuing on with the podcast. What are your goals for the pod?
to build a community of underdogs where where people can come and be a community. I'm gonna start a website with a blog where everybody can come to and talk about the subjects of the pod that was just aired and their experiences with whatever happened or whatever we're talking about, and then for other people to communicate and just have conversations. I was always taught that learning from experience is really good, but learning from other people's experiences can be even better.
Mm-hmm.
If
Walking around in someone else's shoes.
yeah,
Yeah.
like through a story or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I told you about something that happened to me.
Well, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really want everyone's story to be heard. I want to hear your story. It's important so that we can all come together as a community and serve a common purpose, and that is to live a happy and prosperous life, I think. So please join us next time, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on another episode, and like and share with all of your friends and family. If you know of anybody that has an awesome story that needs to be told, and you have the courage to come on and tell it to the public and all the other underdogs. And all of my contact information and socials are going to be listed in the show notes, so please don't hesitate to get at me. I want to hear from all of you. That's it. I'll catch y'all next time. DevDog out. Much love.